Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the IWC Radio Podcast, streaming live on YouTube. Joining me, as always, Chucks and Will, being still indisposed of, which not necessarily a good thing these days, especially if you're a journalist in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon, yeah. Sorry.
He went there.
I did go there. I never came back.
Did he? And he came back. Okay, it's gonna be one of those shows, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a it's a slow news week in a way. We do have a few stories to talk about, but next week is Evolution, so we'll have our prediction game then. Will thought we didn't do Super Showdown last week, when in fact it was 2 weeks ago.
He's right.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've been an idiot. It won't be the last.
I mean, I had to check. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it was totally my fault.
That's fine. I guess we could start off with the results from SmackDown 1000. Will also said before the show he watched everything this week for some reason because he's a madman.
Yeah, it's one of the rare occasions that there's that much to watch these days. That I mean, you're lucky you get through Raw, and SmackDown very rarely gets watched. But yeah, for some reason this week I watched everything.
Why don't you take us through everything then?
Yeah.
Let's get your reviews.
I don't think I remember most of it.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Here we go.
How that feels.
Here we go.
You try watching, what was it, 3, 5, 6, 7, nearly 9 hours of wrestling. Remember it all.
Well, I've watched 5. Or whatever that 5 hours is without ads.
Yeah.
Closer to 3.5. And I don't remember a whole lot either.
It has a strange effect on you.
It does. It all blurs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Smoot, have you got any notes for us to go off of?
I remember the start of SmackDown.
Yeah, I can.
And
Yeah.
thinking, what the fuck was that all about?
Oh, it just kind of ended. They all started dancing and then it ended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that on SmackDown 1000. It's like they had a load of ideas, but didn't know what to do with them. Let's get Evolution back. Okay, well, that'll end with a stare down and then nothing.
Yeah.
We'll have Shane come back and then, don't know, just dance and then nothing. We'll bring Kurt Angle out to do guest commentary and have that go nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The GMs, all of the past SmackDown GMs.
They're just
Like,
there for a photo op. Yeah.
The punchline of that was John Laurinaitis coming back and just standing right in front of stage.
People power. Excuse me.
He didn't even say it. He didn't even give his line. People power. Just stood there.
Yeah.
The lasting thought I had from SmackDown 1000 was that the people of Washington know the words to No Chance.
Yeah.
No chance in hell. You've got no chance.
I just thought this was a 2-hour SmackDown-sized Raw 25.
It kind of was in a way.
I really had that same feeling. Like they had some ideas here, but they've done the worst possible thing they could have done with every one of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was. I think it was better than 125.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
Wasn't really a high bar, but still.
Well, it's kind of what I mean by like a SmackDown-sized one. It's like they didn't give it enough attention to make it get that bad. If they'd really gone all out, let's bring back loads of legends and have it go for 3 hours and do it in 2 arenas, it would have really highlighted how bad everything was.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was nicely done. I mean, as you say, bits could have been done better. But for what we got, I think it was okay.
I just feel like if they had tied it in a bit more with current guys, like have the Evolution thing, that was fine. I was quite happy with it. It's a shame Batista didn't get a little more. You know, he just there was nothing. I was expecting a bit of a shoot, or at least a semi-shoot, but he didn't ever really say anything unexpected. But if you'd finished that with maybe some like current guys, I know you can't do the Shield, but if there was someone, if there was like a group currently who could come out and have a little stare down or get the better of them somehow, would have helped. Or even if it's Triple H getting some heat on them because he's going to be around, or Randy Orton giving someone an RKO.
I think what Ed just said there, I think they were possibly laying the groundwork there for Batista Triple H.
Maybe, but then they didn't go hard enough on that either.
It's probably going to be like touched upon at like WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just worry that it's going to be like one of those. They did
The Rock a few years ago.
Well, very early groundwork. Yeah, Triple H and The Rock. And then there was also the Brock Lesnar looking at the picture of The Rock. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was like 9 months before or whatever it was. And they were, down the line, we'll come back to that. And obviously they just never did.
Wasn't like The Rock and Triple H based off of like who's going to pay for dinner?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that was like, no, I'll pay for it. No, I'll pay for it. And then they kind of teased that WrestleMania match that never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going over some of the notes. Yeah, you pretty much touched upon everything, Chucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, there's just... It was full of interviews, it seemed like. And just talking
to... It was a lot more talky than wrestling.
Yeah.
This time.
Well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it on one of these nostalgia shows.
Yeah.
If you want to bring back some old guys and have them do some stuff. But generally, you would do that in a way that helps a current storyline. Maybe you'd have like a Roddy Piper come back and then do an interview with someone who's around now to kind of fire him up, or that kind of thing. That's usually what we get. But instead, this was, hey, remember Evolution? Yeah, they're not doing anything now. And hey, remember all of these old GMs? And then all throughout, there was a few video clips and still shots of memorable moments from SmackDown. Basically, none of them in the last 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
This is all from the Attitude Era. Everything you remember, everything fun from SmackDown's history was way back. Really highlighted how nothing happens anymore.
The SmackDown tag team titles changed hands, apparently.
They did.
And
going back to the bar.
Yeah, thanks to the help of the Big Show, came out and chokeslammed Kofi Kingston, which WWE.com listed him as a dreadlock dynamo.
What?
the dreadlock dynamo, yeah. When reading the review here. I completely spaced out on the fact that this was like a tag team championship match, but
I don't know if you noticed at the end, the bar held up the five-time, because
God.
they are now also five-time tag champions. Yeah.
And Booker T and King were at ringside for it. Which honestly, why couldn't they get Taz and Cole to come out?
Yeah, no. Well, I can understand Taz. I don't think Taz is on good terms, is he?
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, you'd have thought Cole would have been there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he wasn't though.
I don't know. I think
they did show the shot of him with Heidenreich though. That was in the video package at the start.
I don't know. I think Cole gets a rough gig. I think he deserves credit for what he did on SmackDown. I mean,
yeah,
he was we call him the voice of WWE, which is a bit cheesy, but he was the voice of SmackDown for a long time. So
yeah, but if you don't have Taz, then what's the point?
I'm guessing that was their thought process. Like, what's the point of bringing him out there? He already does like 3 hours on Raw. So,
True.
Yeah, the Evolution. I think the Evolution stuff went a tad long because they rushed everything after that with the Miz and Rusev.
Oh my God, the Undertaker main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He spent so long getting out there, and then just said,
Rest in
"At Crown
peace."
Jewel, they will rest in peace," which he does every time now.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing he does. I thought it was just that one time, but no, he says, "Rest in peace," every time. And that was it. Just walked out.
It was kind of like they forgot about him. They were doing the main event, and then you could literally see someone go, "Shit, the Undertaker hasn't been out yet."
Yeah.
It was so short that I thought for sure it was like a token promo so that Triple H can come out again and they can do a little something.
Yeah.
Maybe Shawn Michaels will show up and kick him, or there'll be something to this. But no, he said the least he could possibly say and then walked out again.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of pointless. It just didn't seem to do anything. Okay, it was good if you were there. If you got the whole entrance and what have you. But for someone watching on TV, which most people would have been, didn't mean anything. And then people started booing when he said Crown Jewel, which is quite funny.
It did sound weird when he said it.
Yeah, it's almost as if people don't want to see people go over to Saudi Arabia after a journalist was killed over there. Maybe it's just me. Maybe people are not valuing money over human life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Also, you just said that picture, Will. I'm guessing it's because of the moose antlers. That person's giving Big Show in the background.
Big Show heel turn 1000.
Yeah.
No, it was yeah.
That works too, I guess. Yeah. A lot of people were making that joke on Twitter in regards to that. Ed in the chat's joined us here saying, I'm blown away that the guy who gave the name to the show, The Rock, could only be seen in the tweet. Yeah. I pointed that out too on Twitter. Again, and a couple people in particular, kind of misconstrued the tweet, which everybody does on Twitter nowadays. But like Batista, who's an established actor in his own right, took time out of his schedule to drop by, whereas The Rock, who's also an established actor, probably got some guy who writes his tweets for him to publish something, that anybody can just blink an eye at. So
I don't know. Rock's usually really busy. He's usually got 3 films on the go all the time, isn't he? And Batista, not quite so much.
Yeah, but
Plus, it was in DC. I don't know if he was there anyway, but
Yeah.
he always used to live there.
Yeah.
I get that, but I mean,
you could just film something.
He could have recorded something.
Yeah.
At least.
He could have literally done something on his cell phone with those those cell phone.
And then he could have done the little thing with The Rock on it in that
Yeah.
same font that everyone gets.
Like John Cena when he filled his at Super Showdown.
Yeah, Cena Man is it? Yeah.
And he positioned
He got his little logo as well. So John Cena, and then he had his little logo on it.
and he
It is.
positioned it.
Most people don't get that.
He positioned it such a way like somebody was going to join him in, like right next to him, and nobody ever showed up.
Yeah.
Couldn't see him.
So yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing. I mean, maybe they were thinking, well, if he's not going to be there live, it's not going to have the same effect. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would have still been nice to have him there somehow.
Yeah.
As you say, it was his show, and he even said it a few times. He came up with the phrase.
Yeah, he used to call it The Rock Show.
Yeah.
Used to be the thing.
I hope this doesn't mean, because apparently he was on for Mania, wasn't he? He was going to be doing something at Mania.
Yeah.
And the rumour was it was all kicking off on SmackDown, but hopefully it still will, but further down the line maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. The show's named after like a catchphrase of yours. I would make some sort of like concerted effort to show up instead of just like, here's a bunch of letters that somebody click-clacked on a keyboard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also pointing out that The Rock did live promos on Cena as part of the once-in-a-lifetime match hype. That's true. That's very true.
He did, yeah.
What
That's
else?
where the whole via satellite thing came from, isn't it?
Yeah, that one image.
Yeah, it was.
That one image from Reddit with him like wrestling from the via satellite location. Oh man. What else happened here? The Becky Lynch on the cutting edge, basically making fun of Edge's neck there after he was like,
I liked that. I thought that was really good segment.
Yeah, I'm just glad she didn't say like stack of dimes once in that promo.
I would have liked to have seen her give more of a kind of explanation to her whole. Because when I saw that and Edge said, you keep doing this, you'll just be on your own at the end. You won't like yourself and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She has a legitimate claim. Everyone turns on her. Every friend she has turns on her first.
That's a valid point.
This friendship she had with Charlotte was the one who joined in her title match. Becky won the title match. Charlotte couldn't just let it go. She had to get in there, and she won it.
Yeah.
And I totally understand why Becky was pissed with that. And Edge is saying, well, now you value this belt more than you value the friendship. Becky should have said, well, so does she. That's the whole point. She valued the belt more than me. So now that's how things are. But instead it's like, no, generic stuff. We're going to have another match. A little brawl.
But at least this was kind of what you saw before, where you got the old superstar getting involved in something relevant, which I thought that was good.
It's true. My criticism is more about the feud itself, which I just have no interest in. But no, they used Edge right here. I think he had a good role to play, and her reaction was pretty good in that she healed it up, which is that's all you can ask for, I guess.
Yeah.
Plus, it was also nice to hear Tony Schimmel as well.
Oh yeah.
Superstar.
It sounded like he was from catering. Like
He was there. Like you could see him.
Really?
As Edge is getting in the ring, he was stood by the ring bell. Yeah. I think he was just a dodgy mic or something. But...
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened. That was as mentioned, pretty good TV. Great usage of Edge there. And then the main event before the Undertaker came out was Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura to qualify for the WWE World Cup, which
Someone's the best in the world, don't you know?
Best in the world from the United States, yes.
Some of the best in the world, streaming live on the WWE Network.
That's right. So the field has been filled out. Yeah, I kind of want to see Nakamura win this one, but I kind of knew he wasn't.
Well, he couldn't.
No, he's not American.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Was it me? I mean, I don't know. Did Mysterio look bigger than he did recently?
It's probably the tattoos.
Is it?
Probably the tattoos.
He looked good. Yeah, it looks like he hadn't missed a beat though.
Yeah, no, he
can still move. He's definitely looking good.
Yeah, and he's back full time as well. So
he is. I thought maybe he sold a bit too much in this one. There wasn't as much kind of excitement to it as I was hoping for. He got his moves in and they looked good, but maybe if he'd been able just to squash someone for the first night back, it would have been a little more impactful.
No, I can see that. Yeah. Good to see him back though.
Oh yeah,
it's great to see him back, and this match was a huge match to give him first night in.
Yeah.
It's a kind of dream match that I never knew I wanted to see. When they threw the graphic up there, I thought, oh wow, this is pretty big.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Shifting over to Raw, real quick. Seth Rollins defeated Raw Tag Team Champion Drew McIntyre via countout to qualify for the World Cup, so he's going to be in that match as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's the full lineup for this World Cup now? It's Angle.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So we have, yeah, as you say, Angle. We got Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler both qualified together.
Yeah.
Miz and Rey Mysterio.
Cena.
Cena, of course, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Orton. But we don't have a bracket yet. We don't know who's fighting whom.
See, I thought it was just going to be one giant elimination match.
Apparently, this is the whole card for Crown Jewel.
Oh my
This
god.
is to just be sending like
Just fucking
15 guys or something.
just bring back like goddamn King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of this mess. You just rename it King of the Ring Crown Jewel. Have it's somewhere over in like Europe. And just fucking there you go. Problem solved.
But they've got to do it in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, though.
No.
They could do it in the United Kingdom.
They could. The United Kingdom of
No,
Saudi.
then you're gonna have like a bone saw on a pole match.
Yeah.
Anyway. Nia Jax and Ember Moon defeated Dana Brooke and Tamina, which was quite a surprise to see back, honestly, which I think she's been on the shelf with an injury of some sort for like at least a year or two.
For at least 75% of her career.
Oh my god. Alright.
It's true, though. She never comes back for long, does she?
That's true.
The Bella Twins confronted Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey with a bunch of security guards that Ronda kind of just like took out with no problem. Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. No, Dolph Ziggler defeated Dean Ambrose to qualify for the WWE World Cup, which I thought was a little bit surprising. I think maybe Ambrose versus Rollins could have stirred the pot a little bit with this whole, is he with the Brotherhood of the Shield? Is he not? Blah, blah, blah. Finn Balor defeated Jinder Mahal for like the umpteenth time, it seems. Bobby Lashley defeated Tyler Breeze for the umpteenth time again.
Or Tyler.
He doesn't care. He's just in it for the paycheck.
Oh, fortunate. That's all he's getting.
Alexa Bliss and Mickie James confronted Trish Stratus and Lita. This is the part of the show where it seemed like it was a rerun.
Yeah.
Authors of Pain defeated the Conquistador. That everybody thought was Kurt Angle, when in fact it was not.
Did anyone think it was Kurt Angle?
I don't think anyone did they?
I think they did. But it was supposed to be Kurt Angle under the thing, and it was not. Natalya defeated Ruby Riott by disqualification. Apollo Crews, of all people, confronted Elias. And The Shield, Braun Strowman, and Raw Tag Team Champions Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Yeah, sorry. So, they defeated them. So that was pretty much your weekly TV stuff in a nutshell. Any thoughts? It just seems like Raw is kind of running on fumes at this point.
Yeah.
Like they need something major to happen over there. Like I heard that Raw, SmackDown 1000 outdrew in the ratings compared to Raw.
I can imagine. Yeah.
The ratings have been death lately, haven't they?
Yeah.
Against football and that, it's bad times.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it doesn't help that the next pay-per-view is Evolution, so it's all women, and there's only ever like maybe 2 women segments on a Raw, so the rest of it is like I say, it's just reruns. It's kind of spinning its wheels. There's only so much they can do to hype this Crown Jewel, and because there's the 3-way for the Universal Championship, no Lesnar on TV anyway. There's AJ Daniel Bryan, so that's a SmackDown thing. DX and Taker. So, maybe there's a little segment with Triple H, but that's about it. There's not much they can do. Maybe once we get this busy week out of the way, get Evolution and Crown Jewel out of the way, we can start looking at Survivor Series and build something big for that. But it's going to be a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a look here real quick. Not sure there's any major headlines. Just a quick update on Crown Jewel. Not the event
It's going
itself.
ahead.
It's still going on.
They didn't cancel it.
Yeah.
Last week we were sure they were going to cancel it. Nope.
No, still
the,
somehow
50 million.
the latest I've heard was that tickets are supposed to be on sale like on the 18th or 19th, and instead they're going to be on sale at the date of the show. Which
What, Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
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 The hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me give you this article here.
Any idea why they would do that?
Because they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still. I mean, if you watched any of the shows this week, which you obviously have done, whenever they mentioned Crown Jewel, there was no mention of where it is. Up until this week, it was every mention of Crown Jewel. It was live in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and this week there was nothing, not one single mention of Saudi Arabia. So they did. I mean, I suppose it's understandable right now. They don't want to link anything to Saudi Arabia. But at some point they're gonna have to.
They are going there.
There's no way around it.
So long.
So.
Yeah. So they're not selling tickets before the day in case they cancel last minute, or I mean, it seems. Are there enough hardcore fans over there for that to work?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Maybe it'll just be like a quick bait and switch where they, put the tickets on sale like an hour before the event, and then hope for a low turnout crowd. do the show, get out, and then don't have to look back until like whenever their contractual obligation to do a show over there for all the fucking Saudi money is. That's my weird harebrained idea.
If you look on the website, read into this what you will, I don't know, but on the events page, it's got the location for every event, but where they are, and it's got a ticket link. So there's let's just see, just before that there's an NXT event. West Palm Beach County Convention Center, and it's got tickets to buy, a link to buy tickets. Next event, Friday, November 2nd, WWE Crown Jewel, nothing. No location, no link to buy tickets.
So is this?
Wow.
So this is like, let me look for this here. Hold on.
So apparently they're at the King Saud University Stadium.
Right.
I was just looking it up for the capacity, apparently 25,000. I think they'll struggle to sell that out if they're leaving it last minute.
Yeah.
Looks like a football pitch.
It's a football stadium.
Yeah,
But it's in FIFA 19, believe it or not.
Oh, boycott FIFA 19.
So was the other one, the one they did in April, whatever he was called.
In the beautiful city of Jeddah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
I think
I got a picture of it here. Yeah, Friday, November 2nd, WWE Crown Jewel, and it just has more details there.
Nothing.
And then,
what more details are there?
Yeah, compared
what
to
will they tell you?
Compared to WWE NXT Fort Pierce, it's just it's got the venue and the city.
if you scroll down to the next proper event, if you like, is Raw in Manchester, which is the three days later, and it's got Raw, Manchester Arena, Manchester, England, and a link to buy tickets.
I just keep getting like WWE Live and WWE NXT and whatnot here.
Yeah, you might get the thing over there because it's here. But yeah, that's the point is, for whatever reason, there's no link to buy tickets, no link to any kind of location.
Yeah. Show Crown Jewel, Friday, November 2nd, 6:30 p.m. No, nothing. Yeah, that's oof. Maybe, I mean, again,
It's even sorry if you click into that link there, it's even got show WWE Crown Jewel, time and location.
Time and location, Friday, November 2nd.
Yeah.
No
And
location.
then nothing.
Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got.
I still think there's going to be some sort of movement on this event. I don't think it'll. I don't think it's going ahead as they wanted it to. Let's put it that way.
Well, that is weird.
Just
Right?
They've taken all mention of Saudi Arabia off of the website.
Yeah, they Benoit it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because right now they got the excuse of Evolution. So you could say that their whole focus is on that right now.
Right.
Come next Monday, where normally you would see the whole WWE machine switch to the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? Just do they hype it up and just not say where it is, or
I don't know. Like I would assume that maybe. I mean, this is probably still part of like, hey, we're getting rid of the Saudi Arabia mention. They probably will still hold it somewhere over there. Maybe not in Saudi Arabia itself, but maybe somewhere over there in like the Middle East. Like a closer venue or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. With the, like,
Where'd you go? Where in the Middle East you go that isn't going to get similar criticism?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I don't know. I honestly, this is a bizarre situation. Considering like they're trying to fulfill their contractual obligation for like the next 10 years to, you know, get paid that like a very lucrative contract. So I don't know if they'd still do it over there or if they just like maybe have like an empty arena. As I kind of proposed earlier, just with like a low turnout. I don't know.
It's even down to, I mean, even as recently as this week, you know, they're still hyping the show.
I think the show is going to go on. Like that's no doubt going to happen. It's just right now, where in the world is it going to take place is the main question. The $450 million question, to say the least.
Tell you, if I get to, I'm going to that Raw on Monday. If I get to that arena and there's a Crown Jewel set, I'm going to be. The whole thing will turn into Crown Jewel instead of Raw.
It's not a terrible idea.
Yeah. I think
we talked about last week.
Yeah, I was about to say, we mentioned this last week that, you know, you could probably theoretically have it in the UK.
I think someone worked out, I can't see this happening, but someone worked out that the Sunday there's nothing in the Manchester Arena.
Yeah.
There's nothing scheduled for the Manchester Arena.
Not yet.
So, not yet, no. And to be honest, that is the only sort of thing that makes sense, unless they find somewhere to do it on that Friday, because even if Crown Jewel goes ahead on the Friday in Saudi Arabia, they've got live events in Madrid on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think they've got Birmingham on the Sunday, so it's not... Okay, you could, if push came to shove, you could probably move them about, but... So it's the only gap they've got is that Sunday, really.
Well,
or mess
or
about
the
with
Friday
the
somewhere else, right?
Well, yeah. And if it's going to be somewhere else, you'd think, well, we're going to Europe anyway.
Yeah, just do it in Madrid.
Let's have it in Europe somewhere.
Kane's big homecoming.
Yeah.
Or they mess about with the taping schedule, which I can't see them doing that.
No.
Raw SmackDown's always been done the Monday, Tuesday, so.
Yeah.
I can't see them messing about with that, but it's a strange situation. Maybe they will.
Yeah, shit. I mean, they're gonna have to do something. I think them performing in Saudi Arabia is like not as likely to happen.
Yeah.
The fact that they've kind of Benoit the venue, and just
and they're not selling tickets for the venue.
Yeah,
that does seem like they're at least leaving their option open to move it
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like last week we were talking. I thought for sure they'd just cancel it or make some kind of statement. This isn't, we can't do this now. But now it seems a lot more subtle. But yeah.
And as well as that, it's the likes of the social media stuff as well. I mean, I say right now, you could say, okay, well, they're promoting Evolution, but you would still get the odd tweet about Crown Jewel, and
Oh, of course, aren't they like 4 days apart? You can't just promote one and then the other.
Exactly. Yeah. So
that was on the 2nd of November. So that was Friday, and
I think Evolution's a Sunday, and
would be the 28th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 or 5 days, whatever. So that means you've got one Raw and one SmackDown to then switch gears and focus on Crown Jewel.
I mean, you've got to think as well, if that does happen, like, let's say someone makes a decision of moving somewhere or wherever happens, it's going to involve rewriting those 2 shows as well. Those Monday, Tuesday, Raw and SmackDown.
Possibly. They could just do the exact same show but in a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
necessarily have to change the booking or anything.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I think you might have touched upon something with the Manchester Arena just not being, planned for anything. It definitely has the opportunity of having Crown Jewel over there.
But that was on the Sunday, right? Not the Friday.
Sunday the 4th, yeah.
So presumably they'd want to still do it on
the 2nd,
the date that they are advertising.
Yeah.
The Friday, you mean?
Yeah. They have been saying it's on that November 2nd.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they changed the date too, but you'd think maybe they'd want to stick to that.
If they wanted to stick to the Friday, they couldn't.
So they're in Madrid on the Saturday and then Birmingham the Sunday.
Let me see. I've got the events page here.
Spain. It'd be kind of cool to do an event in Spain.
Yeah, well.
And they have royalty. They have a royal family. You can have a Crown Jewel over there.
That's true. That's very true.
The Manchester Arena is not available on the 2nd. They have David Byrne.
Oh, David Byrne, the guy that came with every copy of Windows.
Windows, yeah. And on the European tour officially kicks off on that Saturday. Which is, I think, even if they were in Saudi Arabia, right, it's still quite tight. They've got to get to Madrid on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
From Saudi Arabia. Madrid and Cardiff, actually. They're doing 2 shows, so it must be split.
Oh, do it in Cardiff. Do Crown Jewel in Cardiff. That's
All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's definitely it's going to be an interesting week or so.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens and how they promote things and how they say things.
TMZ approached Randy Orton on the topic of Saudi Arabia, and Orton gave the quote saying, "I think we should go. I think the only way to help with change over there is to go and to not cancel the trip. That's the goal, is to make things better everywhere, and I think us not going doesn't help. Going helps."
Does it, Randy?
I think that's kind of a tone-deaf answer, if you ask me.
It's a company line answer.
That would be okay. That would be okay if the company wasn't involved with the government, and they are indirectly, but they are. So I don't buy into that.
I just don't see what change they're making over there. I get that you can only. Yeah. It's the same Brexit argument. Is that you can only change things when you're inside. Can't change anything from the outside. That's what CM Punk said when he came back to WWE. I want to change stuff, but I can't do that sat at home. But they're not changing anything.
Yeah.
They're going over there. They're playing by the Saudi rules, not bringing any women, and then they're just going away again. They're just getting lots of money for doing a show. What's changing?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know how. Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where it sounds good on paper, but if you don't plan it out properly, nothing happens. So
what's the official story at the minute? Is it that?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Go on, Spike, you take this one.
Don't want to get too political, but so I've gone to BBC News.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a credible source. We'll stick with that.
Gotcha.
Donald Trump is not satisfied with Saudi Arabia's account of the death of the journalist.
He said at one point there would be like severe punishments if he found out that like they had anything involved with this guy being killed.
Yeah.
So
on Friday, Saudi Arabia for the first time admitted that Mr. Khashoggi was dead, saying he was killed in a fist fight in its Istanbul consulate.
Oh my God.
So that counts, right? If Trump is gonna get pissed if they had anything to do with it, the guy goes into the consulate and is now dead.
Right.
Pretty sure that means they're involved.
Yeah.
Whether they did anything or not, they had something to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now whether Trump holds up his end of the bargain, who knows? But
see, this story about the fight has come from Turkey because they have investigated it.
Yeah.
It's actually Saudi Arabia have actually confirmed now since then. They've said a fight broke out between Mr. Khashoggi, who's fallen out of favour with the Saudi government, and people who met him in the consulate, ending with his death. Investigations are now underway, and so far 18 Saudi nationals have been arrested. So yeah, basically they're saying it was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know how you have a fist fight and then somebody just dies from it. You must have like a...
And then dismembered.
Yeah, and then suddenly dismembered.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the weird bit.
Yeah.
Surely. The guy dies, that's suspicious, but at least you can say, well, here's the body.
Yeah.
Now he lost a fist fight with, when you say a bone saw. No, this is suspicious now. Not having it.
Yeah, and again, these are the people that, WWE is doing business with. It's shady folks that are just like, yeah, he lost a fist fight. And he got caught up. Is the money, at some point, is the money really worth it? You kind of have to ask yourself.
Well, according to Vince and Donald Trump, yes. It is.
It is.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, for sure, on all fronts.
A little bit further down this article, it's got Australia have announced it is withdrawing from an investment summit in Saudi Arabia later this month during a growing boycott that includes the US, UK, Dutch and French finance ministers. So if the government aren't going, why are we doing a wrestling event there?
No idea. No idea.
That's the question to me. If your own government don't want to go, why are we doing a wrestling event?
Do they even care about this is the bit that I don't get why there's a deal at all. That they're paying all this money For what? Does anyone in Saudi Arabia care about wrestling?
Was it not the story that the prince was a fan?
Yeah.
One of the royal family was a fan.
Like an actual fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's basically paying for his own shows.
He wanted to see like Yokozuna and all these other like Macho Man.
Right. So then he's not a very big fan, is he? He's a fan of wrestling 30 years ago. You give him a
he's
network
still a fan.
subscription.
He's still a fan though.
I suppose it helps with the propaganda stuff we saw last time, where you've seen everyone happy and smiling, and the women driving, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If WWE is showing that to the world through their shows, which is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably worth it to them. It's worth the money.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which last week tonight did a piece on Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They even pointed that out.
So now that's not happening.
What do you mean?
If they're paying 50 million or whatever it is, 40 million something for every show in order to get WWE to hype up the beautiful progressive city of Jeddah,
yeah,
and showing women driving and all of the great stuff that they do now, then for the last week they haven't mentioned Saudi Arabia at all.
Yeah.
Now what are they paying for?
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless they've said, they've had a word somewhere and said, look,
okay, we do look a bit dodgy right now. If you want to take a week off from the propaganda stuff, we'll understand.
We're going to ease off on the propaganda for a week. We'll give you a call in a week when it's all died down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't recall them ever being in a situation like this before. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, this is like just a first time to be in this kind of muddy waters for WWE.
Yeah.
So, like I said, something to keep an eye on from all angles.
Hopefully this time next week we'll have more of a clear position on whether or not it's happening. First off, if it's happening, where it's happening.
Yeah. No, if it's even happening, and if they do decide to have it somewhere, where's it going to be? If it's still in Saudi Arabia, somewhere else, something like that. But
I mean, at the end of the day, I can't see them just going ahead with it and just not referencing Saudi Arabia. If they're going to go there and do a live show from there, I just can't see them not saying where they are.
Yeah.
We're live on the WWE Network.
Exactly.
But that's you say that's exactly what they've been saying this week. When they promoted Crown Jewel, it's always been streaming live on the WWE Network, and where they would have said live from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So is Vince that stubborn to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he is. At the end of the day, it's all about the money.
Well, and if they let out some kind of statement saying that, we're not the government, we stand behind whatever Trump and the government decides to do with this political issue. We're an entertainment company, we're getting hired to do this thing in this place. Then I'd kind of understand. It would still be kind of a little questionable morally, but I'd get it if it is about the money. But I don't know, the fact that they're not saying they're not going, but also not saying they're going.
Yeah. It's the whole silence. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, either you say we don't care, or you say we care.
And again, it just kind of, if they do go, it kind of makes every charitable thing that they've done seem meaningless. Like even tribute to the troops. Like it seems like it's an empty gesture now.
Now.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Still, but you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly.
It just seems like they just do it for the press and nothing else. Instead of like.
Of course they do.
Well, yeah, but instead of like, the actual gesture of going there and whatnot. I don't know.
If they were committed to making change, then they would be changing stuff.
Right.
Or they would be seeing that they can't change stuff and not bothering.
Right.
Mm.
I agree.
It's, it's been this long, and they can't point to anything that they've actually done there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's just something we'll have to keep an eye on next week. Speaking of stuff that happened last week, Bound for Glory. I didn't personally watch it. I absolutely completely forgot that it was on. Not gonna lie. I think like midway would have been like around the 10 o'clock hours. Like, oh wait a minute, isn't Bound for Glory on? Oh whoops. So, one interesting thing of note though, the main event, which had Johnny Impact, which was John Morrison in WWE, going up against Austin Aries. Impact hit his moonsault, I think, right? Or whatever his special is.
Corkscrew, split-legged moonsault.
Yeah.
Starship Pain.
Starship Pain on Austin Aries. 1, 2, 3, new Impact champion. Austin Aries pops up and then just leaves and then gives everybody the middle finger on the ramp. So,
Yeah.
It is amazing. There's a clip of it on YouTube. If anyone like us didn't watch Bound for Glory, if you can believe it, some people didn't. It is worth watching. I've just seen it before we did the show. It's pretty great.
It's pretty hysterical. Also, they were at the Monrose Arena in New York, which looked incredibly cramped compared to like the Manhattan Center.
There's just so many fans wanted to get in.
I don't think that. No,
hanging off the rafters.
No, I don't think that's the. I think they just picked an incredibly small venue.
It did look really tight, and even the camera angles.
Yeah.
Even the ring looks small.
The camera was in the ring, I think.
Are they using a smaller ring? Is it like an 18
It
ring?
looks smaller.
Yeah, it looked like an 18 by 18. So 25 by 25.
20.
Oh.
25 is huge.
All right, never mind. 20 by 20.
They're not like a typical indie ring.
Well,
Even indies these days have at least an 18. But like there was some, what was the one in the UK? FWA? It was quite big, like mid 2000s. I think it was FWA, Frontier Wrestling. It must have been like a 10-foot ring. It's so small. It's like ridiculously small. I'll have to find a picture of it, but like it looked like one of those. If anyone of a decent size, like a Samoa Joe or someone, would lie down on the mat in a submission, they could hit every corner of the ring.
I remember seeing I think it was on that documentary about Paige's family.
Oh yeah, that would be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it showed some clips of her mum doing some indie wrestling, and they were really small. It was like when they did the little cart they made for WrestleMania, the little ring shaped card. It was like one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did get some really, but this was small usually for TNA. I keep saying TNA, they don't call it anymore. I know.
It's comda.com Impact Wrestling. My God. Can't you at least recognize that? I don't know. I guess I don't know. Comda.com.
Yeah, free hat.
Apparently Jeff Jarrett was at some point suing him like not too long ago. I think back in August or something.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Don't know if it's still going through. Yeah, same. Don't know if they're still in sort of a legal dispute there. Which also, apparently, Jeff Jarrett had a video congratulating Abyss at the Hall of Fame ceremony, which seemed pretty fucking awkward. But
was this not in the same place as the event? Pretty sure it was.
No, because there was like a bar restaurant.
I think it was, I think it might be another part of the building.
Oh dear. According to Jason Solomon of Solomon Monster Sounds Off, he said he was there at the event, and the bar venue didn't know that TNA was. Well, there I go saying TNA. They didn't know that Impact was selling tickets to the venue, and
Really?
Yeah. And apparently they might have either started charging people at the door or just waived the admission at a certain point. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if this Austin Aries situation is like, I don't know what to make of it. It seems like there's some sort of internal issues that are happening that more that meets the eye, I suppose.
To do that on live TV is a bit
unprofessional.
Well, yeah, more than a bit.
For sure.
Surely he's cut his ties with TNA and possibly a lot of other companies as well, because you see him doing that, then what's to stop him doing it for you if you book him? So.
Very true. Very true.
I wouldn't book him. I wouldn't book him anyway. I don't like him.
Oh. All right. I don't have a problem with him. It's fine with me.
Are we done with Bound for Glory, or did you want to carry on?
If you got anything to add, go for it.
No, I'm done with.
I'm just looking at that Comda site. I wanted to get a free hat.
The free hat, yeah.
And on their main page, there is a tiny little banner saying "Click here to get your hat." And if you click on that, you don't get a hat. You can buy a hat. And there's also this Bound for Glory banner with Austin Aries, Johnny Wrestling, and 4 hats.
I want a hat.
Why do they have food calendars here? What the fuck is this?
Where are you seeing this?
Here, let me throw it up on the stream here. We have the perfect calendar. Oh, just changed to something else. We have the perfect calendars for the entertainer and you. It's got like one with like a burger here. Like, what the fuck?
Who's the entertainer in me?
Yeah.
I think I've got anyone in me right now.
Click here to get your hat. Okay.
Available USA, Canada, and international. That's quite vague.
Yeah.
I'm international.
For high impact promo product edit.
Impact, get it?
Yeah.
Like Impact.
So Shop TNA not a thing anymore?
Yeah, it must be.
Shop Impact. Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, I want a free hat. How do you get a free hat? I want my free hat.
$25 for a hat. That's scandalous.
So there's, on the main page of shopimpact.com, there is a new Abyss t-shirt, because he's just gone into the Hall of Fame, featuring the Abyss mask with like that nose triangle, with a picture of Abyss wearing a completely different mask.
Nice.
Wait, here? Wait, hold on.
Shopimpact.com.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. What they, I guess the side-by-side here is a little bit different than, is somebody shoveling snow?
Fireworks or something?
I didn't think you could hear that. Someone is letting off fireworks outside.
Oh my God.
It is 1:30 in the morning and someone is letting off fireworks.
On the 21st now of
October. 21st of October.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they not realize it's October? Oh, that mask is pretty. That mask is pretty cool. The OVE splatter mask there. Okay, and then this, yeah.
Oh, that's Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles, and Bobby Lashley, and Alberto Del Rio.
Everyone is not TNA now.
Samoa Joe collection. There's AJ again. There's Jeff Jarrett, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Mr. Kennedy, Kurt, Jeff Hardy.
The Samoa Joe collection. Yeah. I'm surprised they still have those products left over. Yeah, AJ over here with Lockdown. Jeff Hardy over here from 2013. Bound for Glory. Yeah, wow.
Well, they've probably got loads of it in this warehouse, haven't they? So.
Yeah.
They must have not sold off many of those brown bag specials from Don West, I guess. Yeah, $25 for a hat? No, fuck that. Give me You said free. That's not free. Damn it.
Yeah. Speaking of former TNA announcers, story came up this week that apparently Mike Tenay was being discussed by WWE for the GM of 205 Live.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently he was being discussed between him and Spud, and obviously they went with Spud. Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how I would feel if Mike Tenay. Oh God, what if he became like the manager?
Beans. Imagine what Beans would say.
What if Mike Tenay was the manager of AOP?
Oh my.
Like, could you see him in like one of those vests?
It would be amazing.
God, now I want that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Damn it, Will.
This is according to Wrestling News Source. Before naming Drake Maverick as general manager of 205 Live, WWE officials were reportedly interested in bringing in a former WCW and Impact Wrestling personality. Long-time WCW and Impact Wrestling commentator, the Professor Mike Tenay, was being considered for the role of GM of 205 Live.
Wow.
No reason was given on why they went with Drake Maverick.
I think we know.
Yeah, he's not Mike Tenay. That's
Yeah,
the reason.
He's not like 90 years old.
God.
Yeah, so there's a bit of news for you.
Mike Tenay again. He was a good announcer.
Yeah. I don't know if he would be a good manager or GM, but hey, each their own. Anything
Take
else?
him over Michael Cole.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just a couple of little tidbits. Apparently Shane is back full time now. It's not just a one-off.
Hey.
He's back full time. He's possibly due to have a match at Survivor Series.
Oh, jeez. Alright.
Yeah. John Cena is now a New York Times bestseller with his new book Elbow Grease. It's a
Okay.
kid's book.
I mean, congrats to him.
Yeah. There was a couple of other things I read, but I can't find them at the moment. Oh, that was it. Apparently, it came up in the Something to Wrestle With podcast. That WWE were seriously considering making SmackDown a women's show.
Like an all-women's program, yeah.
But when they sort of realised they didn't have enough talent for a full show, they kind of scrapped the idea. Oh, and NXT UK debuted this week. It's been a long time coming because I think the actual tapings were back in June.
Right.
But it was a very good first show. I seen it on Thursday. It's on demand now on the network if you want to catch up. And it's every Wednesday from here on. It was a really good opener, I thought. The main event was Pete Dunne and Noam Dar, formerly of 205 Live fame. Actually, did he get on 205 Live?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did he get?
Yeah.
I know he was in the cruiserweight division, but I don't think he was around for 205 Live.
Yeah, early on because he had the beautiful Alicia Fox.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right, he did, yeah. He went up against Pete Dunne. And if you think some of the stuff Randy Orton was doing was a bit sickening, some of the stuff Pete Dunne does is a bit hard to watch. I'd say that'll be a good match.
Fingers in the ear holes, or what's he doing?
He's bending fingers back and bending arms back, and yeah, he's very. It's part of his style, Pete Dunne. He does it a lot.
That just means Noam Dar is really flexible.
Both of them put up a pretty good performance. Actually, I was quite surprised with Dar because I didn't really like him when he was in the cruiserweight division. But no, he was okay. Good. And we had a women's match as well, and there was a singles match. I can't remember the guy he faced, but Dave Mastiff. Big brummy guy, Birmingham. Basically squashed some little guy. But it was a good show. It was the first one The next there was at the Cambridge. I want to say Cotton Exchange. That might be wrong. And the next 4 shows, I think, from there, I think they did 4 tapings in the same place. But yeah, so far so good.
Okay.
That's good to know.
I don't think we've got anything else. Apparently Jericho, there was a rumor that he was starting off a promotion with JR. But apparently he said it's not happening himself. So
Isn't JR under contract with WWE now?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But I don't know.
Should be allowed to do that.
Also, apparently, there might be talk of a name called Showbar because of the Big Show's alliance between him and Cesaro and Sheamus.
That'd be funny.
Which sounds terrible enough that it might actually happen. So
Showbar.
Showbar, yeah.
Apparently WWE considering it just on the NXT UK thing there. They're doing something similar with Germany. They've put out a load of sort of call outs to local indie companies in Germany, which they did something similar here apparently. And they've got a tryout probably when they're over there next month. So we could see an NXT German brand.
Maybe.
Starting to think it's too much.
Yeah, I'm thinking that myself.
Maybe.
And one last thing about SmackDown. Apparently Fox, this came out when the deal signed earlier this year. But apparently Fox are looking to create a sports block, excuse me, which will go from Thursday till Sunday. With the plan for NFL to wear Thursday to Sunday and SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah.
And they want SmackDown to become a lot more serious, a lot more sports based.
It should be.
So yeah, basically want to be a lot more legit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea, but I don't know how would they handle that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you'd have to say the new day would have to go. But yeah, I'm not sure how they'd actually do this.
I've always liked the idea of doing like a league format, like the G1. But I don't have any faith in WWE to have the patience to do it. Or like you know rankings or something kind of legit. I just don't think they'll stick with it.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's one of them things they'll probably do for a few weeks and then abandon.
Yeah.
You just need a lot of foresight to do that kind of thing.
Maybe with the Fox money behind them, they might actually put some effort into it.
Maybe.
It'd be interesting if they did, if they could do something like that. But I don't know.
It's when do they take over? Is it next year, 2019?
Yeah, I believe so.
Fall 2019. So this time next year we'll probably be looking into the first SmackDown on Fox.
It's gonna sneak.
There
up
we
on
go.
us.
Sorry, I've got actually the date here. Friday, October 4th, 2019.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm telling. That's gonna sneak up on us in a year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, if that's it, hopefully we'll have Beans back on the show at some point. We'll be back next week with the prediction game of WWE Evolution, the all-female show. To hopefully, if I can get into some sort of like competing distance to not be so far back in the game. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and as well as the Crown Jewel situation and everything else in between. We'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.